Hi guys, I'm Billanidus.
And I'm Indii.
And today's topic is football and racism.
Football I know nothing about, but yeah. We have Hardeep, who is a football fanatic. I know nothing about it, so...
/ teacher as well. Teacher from Leicester, not from the block, from our city, from our ends.
Representing two cities today.
Yeah, she's wearing a Liverpool shirt and she's got a Leicester scarf as well. I'm the same. I'm a Liverpool fan and Leicester supporter. Shout out to you. And Indii, who do you support?
Yeah, next question.
Alright, okay. First serious question.
No. I actually don't support anyone. I don't know. I don't watch football religiously. I don't know anything about football. Nothing at all. Don't really know why I'm here today. But my brother supports Arsenal, so I'm just going to say Arsenal because if he watches this, he'll be really upset.
Can you name me some Arsenal players?
Absolutely not.
Okay then. Okay, well, anyway, I was expecting a name, Indii.
Absolutely not.
I'm just glad we cleared up we can have two teams because I get selected for that. You can't have two teams.
No, you can have like a main team.
Yeah.
And have a
Liverpool
supporting
is fine.
team. Liverpool again,
Team.
main team, and Leicester my supporting team.
Yeah.
So I was going to say the first question what Indii bamboozled me there. He didn't come home. What are your thoughts on it didn't come home? Because we were looking forward to that freaking trophy, to running the block in England, London, or wherever else it's going to be, and it didn't come home.
I know. Disappointing, upsetting, but I think we have to take the positives from it. I think we have to look at the fact that this is a young England squad that did remarkably but well to get to where they did. We've got to give Southgate credit. I think he's been discredited quite a bit, but what he's worked with a lot of these players in the youth teams. He's brought them through the ranks of like under 18s, under 19s, under 21s, etc. And so yeah, he's done a remarkable job. And I think it's like with anything, like when you get a setback, there's an opportunity to come back even stronger.
Oh, for sure.
That's going to be the England squad and the individuals within it. But like thinking about the World Cup, it's like Mbappe missing that penalty. He's never going to have that experience again.
Look at when Brazil lost against Germany. They got smashed in the backyard. What was it, like 8?
We remember that.
8-1, was it 8-1 or 7? Something stupid and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But what's the average age of England's team? It's about 20 something. I mean, they're not that old.
Yeah.
In terms of an age, but you know what? It just hurts. It's the penalties, man. That just hurts to lose on the penalties. My argument for this is there should have been other players that should have stepped up.
Yeah.
I know that obviously Southgate's picked the players and whatever, but there's people that could have stepped up. So you know what? I'll go. I've got a bit more experience. I'll go.
Grealish came out though, didn't he? And I like his statement because he was very classy with it in the way he said, "I did put myself forward," but he wasn't selected at that point. I personally think he probably should have taken one earlier.
Do you think one of the players would have actually stepped up and just, "I'll take it anyway," even if they said you can't?
But it's not his call. It's not their call.
I think this is a respectful squad in terms of the respect that they have for their manager, which we see those tensions sometimes in teams, don't we, where managers and players fall out. But this is a respectful squad. This squad respects the manager and its decision. Hence, I think Grealish's statement was very, very powerful in the way he worded it. It was just right to say, I'm not going to have people say I didn't step up, I did step up, but the manager made a decision, you know, and I think that's important. And I think that's a solid foundation for this squad to get stronger as well. Because I think a lot of us went into watching England in the early stages thinking there's a lot of personalities, strong personalities in that England squad, young players, potentially egos, but I don't feel like that really came through. I feel like the squad came through that was strong.
Yeah, they looked quite united.
I would never have thought that squad was going to go to final street. I just thought, it's going to be nice.
That's where they literally...
They took it to the top, to be fair.
They challenged everything that people thought of them and showed something very different, something beautiful. And although it didn't come home, they took us on that journey. They gave us hope. They united the nation. But what happened afterwards, I think, was devastating. But the way that they united this country after a pandemic, after all the lockdowns, after everything that we've experienced, I think this squad deserves credit for. The football's powerful, isn't it, in that it's one of the only sports that can unite countries, communities, the world often.
Do you think that the hype itself put bare pressure on the players? Like the fact that every stage we got past the group stages, then we got to the quarters, then the semis.
No, but I feel
really
like if you don't hype
up.
people, then I think they would have been discouraged from what we're really doing this for.
The hype is good, but do you not think that they were overhyped? Like, not in a bad way. I mean, in the sense of the pressure. It's not the hype that's the bad thing. It's the overhyping and then the pressure on them thinking,
But the pressure's there anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like when you
On that level.
on those young shoulders, I think that's the other thing to remember is that there's a lot of young players that have achieved incredible things. Like look at Jude winning with Dortmund.
Yeah.
You've got Champions League winners in there. You've got Premier League winners in there. You've got a young squad that have won stuff individually with other teams, and now it's time for them to come together. And it takes time. I think we have to give managers time to get teams playing together, to understand each other.
But they played good,
dynamics,
though.
and they did.
I mean,
And
the only
it.
dead match that was probably with Scotland.
Yeah.
That's the deadest
As a
match.
as a
Otherwise, it
competition-
was actually pretty decent, to be fair, to watch them play.
I thought it was really
You know what I
exciting
hate
to
though
watch,
when they
even though
go
I don't know anything
when
about
they
football.
when they go. Trust me, the thing I hate about them, any team, is when they just play at the back,
Yeah.
playing backwards, passing to goalie, and just fanny around at the back, defender, goalie, defender.
Get
So
forward.
literally,
We're always like, get forward,
they literally
go
do huge meter at the
forward.
back. It's just no, honestly, it is so annoying because just like, oh, for God's sake, take my young. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
it's irritating. You
Get
want to kind of
forward.
go forward.
Yeah.
You watch all the other teams like France, Germany, they will drill
Yeah.
and just go for the attack and
think-
stuff.
I think with England, we did see them come together over time, but we've got to remember that players then come from various different teams. They have small football camps to prepare for big competitions like this. Then the pressure's there. When you've got young players, they need time. They need the experience as well. And I don't think, although it feels like a setback and it feels like it didn't come home, they took us on a journey. They brought us back to Wembley.
But I
in the
don't know.
final.
I don't know any team,
Yeah.
at any, either be it at the Euros or the World Cup, where any team was really young to win it. They've always
Yeah.
had maturity and
Yeah.
age on them,
That's it. I
on,
think
on
just
the on the higher end of the age side, because they've got more experience.
experience.
Do you know what I mean?
And
But
that's-
the thing with the players was that okay, they didn't. We expected them to like win. Obviously, we hoped. Let's say hoped. Okay, they're going to take it. They're not going to lose these people. Whatever. They lost. Fine.
I think
Cool.
we need to.
But it's the wrath of what they got afterwards.
I
It's,
think going back to for a second, we need to remember how they lost. They didn't lose the football match in itself. They lost on penalties. Penalties is technique. It's nerves. It's I don't want to say luck, but a part of it is a part luck because either
you've got to win the game in the 90 minutes.
Yeah, because then
That's-
it's
yeah.
a lotto, but penalties is like a lotto.
That's when
it's
the skill
anxious
comes
to
in.
watch. We get excited by it, but we hate it at the same time. It's a love-hate relationship with penalties.
Oh no, man, I
Even
hate
when you've got
penalties.
I feel like
strongest-
watching it,
yeah.
everyone was so anxious.
Intense,
Taking
yeah.
Oh, mate,
it
anxiety-
is
no
it's
anxiety.
going to be double the
I
pressure.
can't imagine
Yeah.
the lads stepping up at that point, and then I guess it's that. It's that we need to remember that penalties isn't one thing. It's that technique. It's that getting it right. Like the penalty shooter has got to get it in the right direction. They've got to finish it as well.
People forget
The
they missed
goalkeeper,
as well.
Yeah.
No one
The
remembers that
goalkeeper's got
part.
to go the right way, or save, or the most powerful thing for me, and I think it's going to be inspiring for generations to come, was Pickford. Because, when you think about mindset and how we work with young people, I think Pickford, when he knew he had to save that penalty, and he
Yeah,
said,
that brother's
no
loose.
problem.
He's a loose cannon normally.
Yeah.
Did he say no problem to
Yeah,
himself?
he said no problem
Yeah.
to himself, and that is going to. I am starting as a teacher all of my lessons this year with my students. I teach 16 to 19-year-olds with that.
Yeah.
To say that what you say to yourself is powerful.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I mean. Like, although we didn't win and we didn't bring it home, I think there are so many wins that we can take as
Yeah.
a nation. I think the players will take so many wins from this, and they should be proud because they lost on penalties. Had they lost like 2-1 in the game, we could have scrutinised the game. We could have gone like, I guess a lot of us do think maybe Gareth Southgate should have made some changes earlier. He could
No,
have.
it would have been fair to say that
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
game
in the
should
second
have
half,
been won. It could have been won in
we
90
should have
minutes.
changed the dynamics, especially in the second half, but we didn't. He held out and made some late changes, potentially thinking about penalties that didn't work out.
But then even he learned something from this as well,
Yeah.
which is fine. So everyone's seen what he's done, cool, fine. But then to give the players an onslaught afterwards,
Yeah, and
especially the as they call players of colour, the black players, as they say,
yeah.
isn't necessary because
That's-
when these people are playing with the shirt on, they're playing for England.
I never thought it. I
know.
never thought. I don't know if there's even a single reason why it would be necessary because and I read this because like I said I don't know anything about football, but it was everywhere, wasn't it?
Yeah,
if they had won and they had taken those penalties and scored,
Yeah.
they would have been like the nation's heroes. But why all of a sudden, if they miss the penalty, it's because you're
And
black?
another way, before we finish that, another way to flip that is, had any of the white British players
Yeah.
missed, would they have had the
What
same
what
luck?
would they have
No.
said about
No, they
them?
wouldn't have.
Nothing.
No, they would have just said something about the family. They
Yeah.
would have said some dumb stuff like, "Oh,
So
I wish,
spend all the
I
time
wish,
partying.
I wish this happens. I wish you
Yeah.
get, I wish this happens to your family." Some of the dumb
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
but they
Rubbish
never,
stuff.
they never,
Like
they never drew the
attack,
colour.
When
Yeah.
you go down the attack of race, racialising things, it's impacting a wider community.
But
and
even
there
if
was no need
even if
for
they
it.
had won,
Yeah.
the fact is these people still have got that underlying kind of racism in them.
Absolutely.
Because okay, you won it,
Absolutely.
yeah, well, thanks a lot, but they're still gonna make the jokes afterwards amongst the friends.
Yeah.
They'll think it's all funny, it's all banter.
Banter.
That isn't banter because
No.
whether you win or not, you shouldn't even have to. It shouldn't even cross your mind to say something
About
like that
someone's
caliber.
colour,
Yeah, it's like you're thinking as a person. To be fair,
I think, interestingly, during the game and as the penalties were progressing, I remember having some text chats with friends, and we all concluded that we knew what was coming.
Oh yeah, of course.
And that's quite sad to think that we knew what was going to appear on social media, in the media, in the headlines, etc.
When Rashford missed his, I thought, okay, yeah, we've got
Straight away,
time.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Then Sancho.
Even then,
missed
we
it.
knew that they were going to get stick, but
Yeah.
when we lost it, we knew
But
that
then
it was going to be.
when the last brother came, and obviously he's the youngest,
Yeah.
I was like, please just don't miss this for yourself more than the game itself,
for
because
yourself.
I can see that for 3 players. I've seen what the players are, what they look like. I thought, yeah, this ain't gonna go nice, man. No one's gonna remember the 2 missed by Italy.
Emotional when I think about him.
No, it's
He's
peak
so
because
young.
yeah,
He's
and,
just finished his
and,
exams.
and,
So
to drill him
young.
on his own,
Yeah.
unnecessary, man. It's just not needed,
Absolutely.
man. And it's just I'm thinking like, well, this is our kind of clientele, let's say, for people see England as that.
Yeah.
They associate
And
England
that's
as
how
that.
the
Yeah, they do.
tournament concluded.
Yeah.
It didn't conclude as what a wonderful young squad.
Yeah, brought everyone
and,
together. Yeah,
brought a
gave
nation
someone
together.
hope.
England, Europe, in terms of European nations, alongside Italy, were one of the worst hit. You know, nobody's thought, look at these 2 nations having dealt with a pandemic, bringing their countries together through football. Actually, the headlines got skewed in terms of England, racism, you know, all of that. And it's a shame, really. Because
I think, although it's a shame, and I'm not saying that, you know, you can justify it at all, but in a really weird way, I feel like this kind of had to happen because I feel like people have always been in denial, especially people, English people, white people who are not racist, because it's not like they're all racist, but I feel like the ones who are not racist deny that racism exists. And so with things like this happening, written evidence of people posting monkey emojis on Saka's Instagram and, you know, go back to your country and all this kind of stuff, it's clear written evidence that actually, don't be ignorant, this is the country that we live in, this is what's happening. And I feel like if it didn't happen, it would have been brushed under the carpet forever and ever.
Isn't it ironic though that people from this country say, go back to your country,
Go back to your country.
looking at England's history?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I can't.
No,
yeah,
to
that's
put it-
100%. Yeah, no,
to
no,
put
we're
it-
saying
to
there's
put
no
it-
point.
put it in simple
We're saying
terms,
there's no point
I'll tell you,
anymore.
it's
Everyone
ironic.
knows.
It's ironic. Look at the crown jewels, look at the Commonwealth Games, and look at the history. I'm not saying anything more than that. Just look at these 3 things. So when you say go back to your own country, elaborate what that means to me, and elaborate why you stepped on my turf in the first place. Then, if that was the case. Do you know what I mean? So that don't make no sense. But we hear it. We even hear that when we used to school and stuff. I mean, when Gary Neville and Rio Ferdinand said, I was expecting that, I knew it was coming.
They knew it was
That's sad,
everybody knew, and it's
That's
and it's
really
and it's,
sad.
and
I
it's
think as
they
football
expect
fans-
they've seen it because they've grown with football and stuff.
Yeah.
But the fact that
And
in a time now where they're going to be kick racism out of football, and that they've been drilling that
through their careers.
yeah, and even
they've
now
had
they've got that,
veterans
and it's
now.
just like all
We're
that
still
kick
here.
racism out of football
Still having this conversation.
is void.
With everything that they've achieved in their whole career, whether it's the older generation or the newcomers, there's one thing that just has not changed and moved on, that good or bad, your colour and where you are from is always going to be the main point that's going to be raised regardless. And I just feel like, how must those young men feel going forward? They feel really proud when they put that T-shirt on, the England T-shirt on, because they're going to represent the country. But I feel like incidents like this, although they might love football, they have aspirations for a great career, but I can tell you now, I bet they will think twice before putting that shirt on ever again, thinking,
But this is-
have I got the energy and have I got the mental capacity to deal with what happened in
This is why
2021
people-
again?
As role models, they'll find that strength, won't
Yes.
they, to step up. Because
Well, they
They're
did.
going to be the change, aren't they?
I think like they took their time.
Yeah.
But for example, I think, like I said before, it's not everybody. It's a disgusting little minority. But I think that we have such intelligent people. Like Marcus Rashford took a couple of days off social media, thought about it, and then when he came back, he acknowledged all the love that he was given and all the admiration that he was given and the support.
Absolutely.
But imagine he, at his young age, turned around and said, I'm not doing this ever again.
See you later.
That's it. We've lost a good
Actually,
person.
People should be called
On
up
the
to be fair
flip
on this
side,
Yeah,
stuff.
they
Yeah.
should be. Yeah,
First
they
of
should
all,
be.
racism, it's illegal in this country.
I know.
Why are we
Football or
not-
no
Yeah,
football.
football or
Yeah.
no football. The minute we educate, don't we, on the dangers of social media. What you post, you can delete it, but the imprint's there.
Yeah, of course.
So why are we like social media companies? It comes back to that, isn't it? Why are they not holding people accountable?
It's money, man. It's money.
Yeah, it's money. It's
Money and
in
usability.
fact, social media needs division. If social media needs this sort of division, as horrible as it sounds, and it's never going to be justified because you cannot be racially prejudiced, but it makes you think that social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, etc., need this sort of division amongst communities because it continues.
I think they just don't want accountability.
More people
Yeah,
respond.
verify.
If they've
Yeah,
verified
yeah,
account,
yeah.
when you go to open
They've
a bank
yeah,
account,
they've got to
you
change
need to
something.
verify
They got
yourself,
to,
innit?
yeah. I think they think of it as engagement,
Yeah.
and they think of like, and it's again not a justification, but I
Yeah,
think
it's not about
I think
engagement,
they
though, is
thought,
it?
you know, if you're in the public eye, right, you sign up for this, so go deal with it. And I think genuinely that's what social media owners think.
You can sign up for the criticism, but not that.
Yeah, criticism,
But
and
that's
then
not
like
criticism.
bashing. Yeah,
That's
That's not bashing.
It's not even bashing.
You can
kills
drill-
your character.
you can drill a person for how they move.
Performance.
Yeah, how just
Yeah.
how they
Everything
move.
else.
You
Yeah.
can't drill
Your
a person for
penalty
their
was rubbish.
Yeah.
Fine, we
characteristics,
can't do
take
or their
it.
heritage,
We
or
can
their
take
culture,
it.
or their religion, or their they can't
But we
you
don't-
can't
yeah.
you can't drill
No,
someone for that.
absolutely
That's
not.
the thing. Like
No.
in person, you could not go up to somebody
Can't
right
say
now
that.
and say you so and so,
Yeah.
and be that directly racially.
No one
prejudiced.
nobody ever say that unless you're in a group of 20 lads.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
the
when it gets
evidence.
brave.
So why then is it acceptable on social media?
Because they
And
think
There's
but
no
what I'm saying is,
accountability for it.
there we
Yeah,
go.
that's
They
it,
think they
it's
can
the
get away with
accountability
it.
for it.
There was a guy, I think he worked at Savills, I'm not sure, and he wrote like a really horrible comment, and I think someone scouted him out, looked him up on LinkedIn, sent it to his employers.
Oh, yeah,
That's
I
just
saw
one
that, yeah.
person though. But if you go on like all three of the footballers' Instagrams, I can tell you, it wasn't just one person.
Yeah.
It was
It was
so
a
many
lot of
people.
But it's that level of acceptance as well.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
will hear someone say
Yeah.
some dumb
Yeah,
crap
and they
somewhere.
jump on it.
Yeah,
no,
they
but
jump
no,
on it.
they'll hear someone say something and they won't step in. Yeah, but we do
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not right because
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with me. Yeah, that's not in
But
funny.
then that's
but-
why I think social media companies allow it at the moment because they're looking for that people to jump on it, people to jump
Yes.
against it because it just
Yeah.
keeps
When
the
players are
platforms
racist to
going.
players on
Yeah.
the pitch or officials,
Oh,
or
yeah.
anything
Dealt
happens,
with.
they get fined.
Fined,
They get
banned,
fined.
Yeah,
etc.
they get
Yeah.
fined excessively.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes when
Look what happened in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
They were fined for that.
racism kicks in, and the teams get
Yeah,
fined for the
fined.
players, and they shouldn't get fined.
Get
The
banned.
players should get
Yeah.
fined. Drill it from them. Say, well, we're going to charge you. Let's say a certain
Yeah.
amount of money from your wage and stuff, and we're going to take it out of your pocket and stuff.
Yeah.
If everyone got charged for that, I
Yeah.
guarantee people stop because now they're losing money, and money
Yeah.
is what makes these people make
I
the world
think
go in the first place.
Physically, we're dealing with because I go to a lot of football games, obviously, especially at Leicester City. Leicester City is very diverse anyway.
Mm.
So when we're at football games, they've got lots of stuff in place now where you can anonymously text during the game a number where if you hear a comment either directed at other fans or someone on the pitch, they will deal with it immediately. I think physically we're getting better with it, like players racism towards each other. But I think the social media thing, I think you're right in terms of the fact that this had to happen because maybe there's a change that can come forward. I think younger generations in particular, I always say I work with young people because I think they're the future
Yeah,
and we
of
can
course.
work with them, we
Yeah.
can educate them. We're not trying to
Yeah.
mould them in any way. We're just saying, look, everybody's equal. Every human being is equal. We judge people on being human, not on any other characteristic,
Yeah.
you know, not their colour, not their hair colour, not their eye colour.
No.
That's how I teach racism in school.
Kids are what you feed them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
say to them, like, you wouldn't discriminate somebody because they've got blue eyes, green eyes, so why do you do it on skin colour? And that's where I think the social media, I think football is notorious for it as well because racism exists amongst people. It's a human problem.
Of course.
But it's not just
in
happening
every
now.
sport.
Yeah,
But
it's in every
football is
sport.
notorious
Yeah.
But
for
since this happened, yeah, the whole world look at England
Yeah,
thinking how
yeah.
bad are you?
Every
There are
person,
other
yeah.
countries that are probably more, but they don't move mad
I think
as
it's-
England
Yeah,
people do.
yeah.
I think partly, and I'm going to say it is political because when you've got politicians, Gary Neville was brilliant with it when he held the government to account to say this is going to happen because you're not condemning it at the top level.
Of course.
Once you condemn it
Yeah.
at the top level, it will filter through. But if you don't condemn it at the top level,
Yeah,
you
but
didn't
then-
support the players taking a knee. If you'd have done
Exactly,
that, maybe
yeah.
it had a less of an
Yeah.
impact in terms of when they lost it. Preeti Patel as well.
I was just going to say, she doesn't care. She says, I can't hold anyone accountable.
Yeah, she's the
but yeah, but
funny
you've
person,
got
don't you,
opinions on everything else.
But you can do everything
You
else.
can do everything else, like, you know,
The
you
power to
take,
do everything
yeah,
else.
you've got the power
You
to-
can evict someone's dad from the country
Yeah,
or
you
X,
can
Y, Z.
control
Yeah.
But you can't
Yeah.
control
Deal with the
all
racists.
this.
that
Like,
person,
mate.
yeah, that
Racists on
person
social
who's
media,
come from another
yeah.
country and is probably working their socks off
Yeah.
to build a life here, earn and whatnot. But you can't be accountable for people in your country who are making other people feel this way.
And
We're
on
not
social media,
safe.
It's traceable. We
Yeah,
can
but it's
find
not-
these people.
Everyone's
think-
got national insurance number here.
Yeah.
Who needs to be caught?
Yeah, it's true.
Anyone chatting off has got
true.
a national insurance number.
When you sign up to
Simple
any
as
social
that.
media app, whether it's Facebook or
Yeah.
Instagram,
It's
you have to put
emails,
your details, you have to put your
names,
date of
address.
birth, slot another tab in there,
Yeah.
put your national insurance. It's a
Yeah.
good idea.
A
Put your national insurance.
verification.
Not national.
Put your passport number. I don't know.
Passport picture
Photo
or your driving
ID.
license
Something.
has to be
Photo ID.
verification.
Photo
Yeah.
ID, absolutely.
Yeah, do that and you're okay to
Yeah,
be
and
fair.
then we can hold
Otherwise,
them accountable because
Yeah.
even when you delete that comment, that digital
It's
footprint
there.
is there.
It's
We
there.
can
you'll
hold it.
notice that there's
Yeah.
no one ever on social media that's got a adequate platform that chats that kind of crap.
Yeah,
One
absolutely.
for two reasons. One, because
Keyboard warriors.
they don't want
Yeah,
to say anything that
keyboard
might be
warriors.
detriment to their business.
Yeah.
Second of all, they don't need to. It's always
Yeah.
these little lallubalus. John 123,
Yeah.
Stephen 61, who's got like 14 followers,
Yeah.
no picture profile, and it's just sort of drilling and drilling and drilling. And they get like a. You look at the way they're talking, it's like you're getting a kick out of this. But that person will not say anything in person and stuff. But
Never.
this stems from like school days. So even when I used to go to
Yeah.
school and stuff, our schools were mad for it. So when we used to play football at lunchtime, check this
Yeah.
out, we played football at lunchtime, and it used to be darky stick. The white kids said, right, let's play football. Yeah, right, darky stick. And it's like, okay, cool. And it wasn't that we accepted it, but we knew like no one else is going to be on our side, so it's going to be our opponent on this. All the Punjabi guys, Muslim guys, Hindu guys on one side, and then we had a couple of the black guys and stuff. And the light skinned brothers, I call them, the lighty brothers, they would go on the white guys team. I was like, bro, what are you doing over there? No, bro, my mum's white or my dad's white, which is fine. But it's like, bro, they don't see you like
As the same,
but they
yeah.
took them because
Yeah.
of the players.
Yeah.
They took them for what?
Athletic,
Yeah, they
yes,
took them
selective.
because of that.
Selective.
And all the whack players who were, let's say, me and my friends
Yeah.
with some of colour and stuff, say, right, you guys go over there. And that's from school days. And it's
yeah.
just like, it's them days. If you're doing that kind of stuff at that young age, that's going to grow within you when you get to an adult. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it
And when you're out with your lads and stuff, like 10, 15 guys drinking
Yeah.
and stuff, start doing all your chants and stuff, see a group of lads who are not probably looking
Yeah.
like you, they do it. When we were going through London, when England were playing that day, just people just chanting. They'd look at us and chant, not saying they're directing at us,
Yeah.
but their mannerism and what they were doing and stuff
So
would be
blatant.
deemed as
Yeah.
aggressive or kind of
Yeah.
confrontational. Obviously, we didn't look
yeah.
at them. I thought, you know what, you lot are just a bunch of
You don't
clowns,
need to
man.
call any. You don't need to say black, brown, white. The behaviour
Yeah.
and like just the way they come
Often,
onto
yeah,
you.
what
I
they
think
have
sometimes I think that's more aggressive
Yeah.
than directly saying you brown this, you
Yeah.
black this. The you try to intimidate somebody,
Yeah.
and then what it is, it comes down to the same thing. You're making somebody feel that you don't belong here. So whether you square up to someone, whether you throw something at them, whether you call them a name, what you're trying to do is you're trying to hone it into them, you don't belong here. But following on from that though, how does that make you feel about supporting England going forward from a fan's perspective, but also a player's perspective?
I'm going to support England because I think for the first time, I think minority kids have struggled, I think, at times, and I think you're a football man, you can probably relate to it. Did we support England? Historically, I've supported other teams, like Italy would probably be my second.
I support Holland as well.
Yeah, you support Holland. International team, because I guess we always had this kind of love-hate relationship with understanding our roots and colonialism and supporting a flag that maybe once was detrimental to our people, and the legacy of that still continues. But I think in recent years, with the diversity within the England squad itself, but also with young people going, well, no, actually, we are proud to be British, Asian, British, whatever, and this is our flag too. We saw it, this is what I mean, it was a beautiful time of unity that I've never seen in 23 years of following
No, you
football.
won't see it. It's just because of
Absolutely
what?
not.
There's
People are
fucking-
fighting over toilet
And I
paper,
think,
during COVID
Yeah.
times, blaming Asian community for taking all the loo
So,
roll.
yeah,
We don't
so-
use toilet paper. No, sorry. We don't need to use it if we don't need to use it.
I don't think
He just gave such an evil.
But we used it though. We did use it.
I don't think. I think it's one of them things, isn't it? This is going to make football fans come united together, stronger. I mean, look at the Rashford
Absolutely.
Euro.
I think that's
that showed the
beautiful.
unity in its
Yeah.
own right. I think that's what's going to go forward. We are going
Yeah.
to support England.
Yeah.
I'm fully going to support England.
People
Continue
stayed up
to do
all
so.
night to
Yeah.
delete comments.
Yeah.
You know the hate comments?
Yeah, absolutely.
People stayed up all night, fans, to
That's it.
delete
And it's gonna
hate
unite
comments.
people.
And I think
Yeah.
from that, even though the players came together to play the game and win,
Yeah.
they didn't win. The game's over. But they actually all still have stayed united, because the key players have all put out statements and posts where they've thanked fans, the genuine fans, but they have called out the racist people. And these are white people like Harry Kane and, you know, Jack. They've all come out and said, don't do that to our team.
As we know as well, often it's the white voices that are more powerful than ours. And we've seen that in any protest, any movement. And it goes back down to whether it's in football, whether it's in society, it's education, isn't it? It's a real people don't like to use this word, but we need to educate people on what white privilege is. There's some wonderful books and resources out there. I use it myself in my own teaching. And, you know, I've got colleagues who also, you know, over the past few months, and especially more recently, have said, we didn't understand that we were part of the problem. They're not racist in any way. They're tolerant, they're lovely. They just didn't realise that them not maybe speaking up on things is their silence is almost consent, and they realise that. And I've seen colleagues that are just the most loving, wonderful people, not a racist bone in their body, but they very actively started posting about stuff like this. And maybe it was triggered from the football and stuff, but that's where we've got to educate people on white privilege. Isn't us saying that we are jealous because you have an advantage. We are saying our lives are unfair because you have an advantage. Now, we're not saying, you know, it's a privilege that you're born into. It's hard to explain the concept of white privilege, but it's the idea that you are never going to be discriminated and feel that experience in a place like England, like we are, day to day. Like whether you go for a job interview, whether you're in the supermarket, whether you've gone down to an area that's kind of quite white British in a village or something. And it's the same in football. You know, football fans tend to come from all over. Football unity amongst fans is incredible. But then when you see these little kind of pockets of racism, it comes back to. And I think that it's not just that them thinking that their white privilege is something amazing. It's their lack of understanding, because had England have won, like we said already, we would never have seen this. They would have supported all those people. That underlying prejudice is probably there, but it's
denial.
not selective. Like, so at what point you've supported England up to the penalty shootout, they were your squad, your team. Maybe you've even got Rashford's name on your shirt. But at what point do you turn your back on that player then and say, you whatever, and start being racist? It's selective, isn't it? I think that's a different
level. That's the
too.
people that's like, I've seen one time in town, there was a this guy walking with a white guy, probably his girlfriend or something, and a couple of lads started saying something. You know, just typical, yo, you know, I was like, lads, leave it. What are you doing then? What's the point? That's accountability, because they're our community, and that's not right to put someone on the spot there. So flip it, if you see someone knocking someone else because, you know, they are from the same country but they don't look like you, they say something, because if someone's feeling awkward or feeling uncomfortable because they've got the same top as you, so they're wearing the same England top as you, and they're being kind of segregated, like, well, actually, you're not part of us, you're different kind of flex from us. Like, you know, we're going to start chanting X, Y, Z, and we're going to start putting our arms out and start giving the kind of, not really death, but that aggressive tone. You can see from a mile away when they say it. And they're saying it with conviction as well. And it's just like, and this is why some people I speak to in our community say, I support the players, but I don't support the country, or I don't support what they stand for, but I'm backing the players. Anytime they're doing something, I'll share the post, I'll support them, I'll support what they're about, I'll support what they're kind of promoting and stuff. But come to the whole kind of, as this whole kind of unity flex and as a country, as a nation, nah, I'm not want it. And there's so many guys
like they don't deserve it. Like, they show it. They show why they don't deserve it. They show it, right? So you can.
And they get vexed when we don't.
And then they get annoyed. But I think following on from that, though, one of the things that I think mostly in our community we speak about is the lack of diversity from an Asian perspective. I think what's happened, going off just the basis of the recent racism that's taken place. I know that before people say, oh, you know, they see people need more exposure, because I know so many people who love football and are probably just as good as people who can play for England. But going off what's happened, I think it makes me scared to think what else could come for them if, let's say, by a miracle, they were to be chosen to go ahead in a mainstream football.
The thing with the chosen part is, though, there is enough academies out there to give them a shot. You can't say the opportunities are not there.
It comes down to why we're not having our players or
and it comes down to people at the top. It's people at the top have the last word as who can get pushed to the next rank, let's say. You can have as many, you can have 100 academies if need be.
We talk about white privilege, it's institutionalised.
But why is it? Why?
And it shouldn't be. it's
No, but I'm
embraced,
saying
isn't it?
why,
it's systematic,
why are there
isn't
no
it?
dissy people in
It all
football?
goes back to lack of education. There's more tolerance now to bringing black players through.
Yeah.
And they are incredible with their speed, their physique and their
Speed.
talent.
Yeah.
But that's a human talent. What it is in our players. I've got
Yeah.
a 3-year-old boy who's incredible at football already.
Yeah.
But will he make it to the top? Will he get through? Because I think we can say we have the same opportunities as our white British counterparts, but something goes wrong somewhere then.
Somewhere,
For only
someone is
certain
missing.
players to
Yeah,
come through.
somewhere
No, but
something
it's
is
down.
going wrong.
It's down to the ranks. If you've not got people in positions of
Yeah.
power who can make moves or say yes to people, then it's like, okay, there's only so far you can go. So
think
people
there's
be
different-
Saturday
yeah.
Sunday leagues, but it's like, how do you get from that to actual proper
Yeah.
team? Now there are some,
Jamie
there are,
Vardy did it.
there are some players though who actually do go through. I mean, look at the twins, the Pulewan
Yeah, they're doing
twins.
amazing.
They got to Wembley
Yeah.
final, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they
Played
play against each other. You get me?
Beautiful.
I think what were the teams? The teams were written it down somewhere. Consett and Hepburn, and they're brothers. And it's just like and that put them on the in media, like Sky was talking about them.
Yeah.
That MP from London, he was talking about them,
Yeah.
and it shows like, this is who these people are. This is their background. This is their history, and stuff. And like people are like, okay, cool.
Hamza's had quite a lot of exposure
From Leicester.
coming through.
Yeah. Well, he's Bangladeshi,
Yeah, he's-
Grenadian, is it Grenadian?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
One of them
Dual
ones, yeah.
heritage, yeah.
But again, another guy. But there's
Quite proud.
not many people. I mean, there's obviously go to like anywhere around India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. There's many countries there, and obviously we get tied down to Asian. Yeah. So
Yeah.
but there's many
Yeah.
different communities
Yeah,
from
different
there.
communities
But there's
within
many
Asia.
people
Yeah.
that don't kind of step forward as well. And it can, some things, there's two sides. Back there you could say, oh yeah, my parents don't play football, they
Yeah.
don't see it as a career. But people see how lucrative football actually
Yeah,
is.
it is now.
So that, you know what, if you want to play and you're going to be good at it, go and play it and stuff.
Yeah.
But to
I
get
think
the
it's-
to change, we need to have people in power
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make the next move.
Yeah.
That's
I think-
it. So if you're saying it's institutionalized,
Yeah, we need to we need more people to step up, whether it's females,
It's so
males as
difficult.
well,
It's
into
really
football.
difficult though, because like for
Yeah.
example, my brother when he was younger, he was really good at football, right? And my dad was like, "You're not doing it."
Yeah.
He was like, well, "You're not doing it," and my dad was like, "I know you're good at football." And this is quite sad actually. This is obviously when we were really younger, but he said, "You're never going to get far."
Yeah.
He said, "You're never going to get recognition, and you know what? You're probably going to be subject to abuse more than appreciation." And for a young kid to have
Yeah.
that in their head, it's disheartening because this isn't rubbish, this isn't lies, this isn't just in my dad's head. This is going off
reality.
what he has seen,
Yeah.
and today in 2021, it's right. It is exactly what
It's
we've
there,
seen,
yeah.
and it's right there. So it takes a lot of courage for people to step up
Yeah.
and think, you know what, I'm going to push past all this crap and I'm going to
Yeah.
like still try and get out there. But again, when you try to get out there, you need somebody who's in a very higher position to hold your hand and say, right, I'm well known, I'm going to take you on board. Just like they
thing
have
is,
done.
there are players from diverse communities already
Yeah.
who can actually give people a shot. But that's the next thing. It's like, well, if you're going to be fully diverse, you need to give everybody a shot from no
chance,
matter what their background is. Because if a
think
person
that,
in power has an academy and they got a chance to bring people in, so like, you know what, let's bring people from this community because we've seen them. And we did the football tournament.
Yeah.
For
so
Shady
much
Punjab and
talent,
Silva.
so much
And there's some
talent.
players there, some
Beautiful.
ridiculous players there. They're doing some silly moves like you're like, that's just cheeky. But they're cheeky because they're confident.
Yeah.
And they're
But
doing
why
it and
are
they're
they-
doing it
yeah.
with conviction because then I can do this move, I can get away with it. If I don't get away with it, they're laughing about it.
And we had
Because-
this conversation at the tournament, didn't they? Why are some of these not? Why are more of them not even
Yeah.
semi-pro level? Only one
Yeah.
or two that we recognised. And
Yeah,
we
yeah,
sort of-
yeah.
But there was so much talent. And the other thing
Yeah.
that impressed me with that tournament was the talent for females. As a female that's loved football literally since I was born.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, that's a whole different flex in the community.
They,
Getting
the
girls
girls,
to play
I
I'm
football.
know.
so proud of the girls, and the Asian girls in particular
Wow.
made me really proud to go. You know, I come from a generation where we had to play volleyball or rounders.
Netball, I played
or
netball in school, like,
but the boys played
religiously.
football, and we fought,
Yeah.
and we argued with the teachers. We want to play football, but there had to be enough of us to play football. So to see females coming through is incredible. But again, will they break through? Because when we look at like professional squads, even like the Leicester City squad, there's I can't think of any
that's
female
a lot.
Asians.
The females
Yeah.
is a lot harder because there's
Yeah.
less females from the community. There are there. Like my sister used to play netball, and she was the best on the team by far. She used to terrorise them. Girls used to hate playing against her because she's strong, and they try and body check her. She body check them back, but she never got selected to go to the next stage because of
And
that. You don't really fit the criteria.
It comes back to that. There's multi different levels as a community that maybe we need to challenge and bring in the change.
Yeah.
Whether it's people in the right positions and getting involved in those different professional levels. in sport, or whether it's the education as parents, as the next generation of parents now raising children. You know,
yeah, because you know what, if teachers said to you back in the day, or you know, we were not going to get there, you tell your parent, don't worry about it, it's okay. So they didn't accept it.
Yeah, they don't accept it.
But now, we're not accepting it. No, you go out there, you show people.
First of all, I'd be really surprised if a teacher even said that.
Yeah,
so,
well, I often say to my students, you can do anything that you want.
Absolutely. And I feel like there's obviously been, you know, despite the fact that racism just has never gone and it keeps cropping up. But I think that the older generation parents, so like my parents, for example, they went off the basis of how they were treated. Yeah. So they see the patterns. But with yourself being a teacher, you are in power because you now have a certain amount of accountability for the future generation. Yeah. So you are able to train their minds and make them believe, whether you're black, brown, white, whatever you are, don't let that bring you down.
Yeah, that's it.
And if someone says anything else, then you got to ignore it. And that's probably the kind of training that, for example, Saka or Rashford, that's probably the kind of coaching that they've had to push past the rubbish.
Their teachers have spoken out and said like what they've done, and it's powerful. It makes me proud as a profession that a lot people don't. So we, as a profession, we get slated in the media as well. But what we do with young minds is very powerful. Yeah. The things that we do, it's not about the exams and stuff. I don't care what my students are going to fail, but it's more about who are these people becoming. And the biggest thing I teach my students is believe in yourself and be the change. Be the change. Especially like I moved to teaching in the city of Leicester. I won't name the institution, but it's very diverse. And there are first generation migrant kids from every background, whether it's South Asian backgrounds, whether it's African backgrounds, etc., Eastern European, etc. And they remind me of me and the opportunities that maybe, whether it's in sport, and some of them are into so many different things, whether it's academia or sports, but it's getting them to believe in themselves that they can challenge the stereotypes.
What do you think is like, well, how do you think we can tackle racism going forward then in sport? In general as well.
Yeah, I think it's what you said, isn't it? It's accountability now, that we've got a platform now where we can go, it's not enough, we're not going to brush it under the table, not as communities from any background are going to unite, and actually a united voice with the powerful, as we know, kind of unity coming from our white British counterparts, is to make social media platform. You know that COVID badge that triggers, immediately you post something on social media,
immediately flags up.
What's his name? Oh, his name's gone out of my head. He did a post on that recently, didn't he? Ex-footballer.
I know what you mean, but I forgot the person's name.
His name's gone out of my head.
But he flagged it when I think COVID comes up. Yeah, they flag it.
The flag. When someone says something racist, how you not got that flag going? Because they have the power. It goes back to the division and the chaos that even racism and any sort of prejudice creates online. It benefits social media companies.
I feel like any business, whether it's a massive business like Facebook or Instagram, or whether it's, I don't know, like your local corner shop, every single business owner carries out some sort of risk assessment. Yeah. So you look at your profitability, you look at the loss that you're going to have. I feel like the profitability that they are going to have by overlooking racism and other issues like online harassment, bullying, you know, sexism, everything. I think the profitability is so much more higher that these people with billions in their bank accounts, they don't need to care. This is what they think. I'm not saying that's true, but I'm saying they think we don't need to care. Racist, that's your problem. Block them, gone. Delete your account, deactivate it, get offline, save yourself the hassle. My business has got to carry on going.
That's what they think. That's them allowing it then.
Yeah. This is them allowing it.
This is what we're saying. They're allowing it.
They're allowing it because they are choosing money and profitability and the exposure that their apps are getting, whether it's good publicity or bad publicity, they're getting publicity is publicity.
People let things slide until they get caught. How many scandals, issues have popped up where only after something's happened, that stuff at the school when that Sikh kid, when they attacked the Sikh kid.
Came out with
nothing
a
statement. Had they shared that amongst themselves. But because they got to social media and they drilled action was taken.
Yeah. That girl who, I think it was a white girl who got drunk outside a club, and she was so out of her head, and she was racially abusing a black guy. And
the video, security guard.
And the video went absolutely viral, and then you've got crocodile tears coming afterwards in a statement, that's not really me, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is that because it was caught on camera, you cannot evade
Yeah,
it. You can't escape from that. So she was
escape anything
fired.
easily.
If you talk about alcohol, that shows the real you.
Yeah, well,
Because
is
all your
the
guards
real
down.
you.
Your
Yeah, all
guards
your
stay
guards
down.
down. That's what you really think.
Yeah,
That's what you really
If you
think.
still had like tea and I was
Yeah.
panicking, so, all right, you know, I'm not saying it's right, but okay, but you had alcohol and all your guard down, and now
I
you're
can't take
literally
caffeine.
being yourself and just like, okay,
I know.
we'll safely get
That's
rid of
what
that.
you really think.
Yeah, like we teach children tolerance in education. Like tolerance is you are allowed to have your personal opinion. Like as a human being, we're not taking that away from you. But if you're going to use that opinion to discriminate and make somebody else feel a certain way, but whether it's racism, sexism, etc., then that's the problem, and that's where that's the blurred boundary with the law, isn't it? You are allowed to have a personal opinion. You know, if you believe in a certain religion and you've got a certain mindset, that's fine. But to discriminate against somebody, it all for me, it just goes back to education. And education has to start at the top, but it has to start at the bottom, really. And we do it in education to a degree. But then I did live yesterday on one of my socials, and somebody commented that prejudice and racism is actually learnt at home too.
No,
And actually,
that's true.
it is.
I was like, yeah,
it is.
because children are blank slates. Like,
100%.
I mean, look at our parents. Without going too much detail,
Let's not.
some of our
I
parents,
don't think we can.
some of them they move a bit
Be
mad.
careful.
No, I'm not saying it, but we know they move mad.
Yeah.
So we can understand
absolutely.
when other people
Yeah.
start drilling out and they're open about it.
Yeah.
They're just like, yo, we can say one because our parents say it, they openly say it, therefore that means it's acceptable. No, it's not, because it's accepted in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with our households. The things that sometimes we talk about in the house can't be left.
You cannot.
You can't talk to the street.
They cannot leave your kitchen.
And which is why we say that. Like you said, you know, you can have your opinions, but it's a case of, does your opinion discriminate? That's when the crossover goes to the wrong side. And that's
Yeah, but
what's
this
not
is where
allowed.
people are crossing boundaries, because they are now taking like table talk in their kitchen out to the stadium. So this is the problem. We say, you know, we can say a lot of things in our household, but if I went to a match, my reaction would be, I've seen the match, right, spent my money, all right, fine, come home. Say what I want at home. But straight after, for example, the match was done, I saw viral videos of Asian men being beaten up, black guys being pushed out of
I've
pubs,
seen that.
clubs.
Yeah,
And you know what? The
that's
amount of
hard.
memes that I saw, and it's actually really sad. So I saw comedy skits of black guys who were like, you know, doing the black screen on TikTok, where they would do the green screen, and they would like pretend, oh, me as a black man in a pub. So then the second they lost, it was like, right, let's just slowly try and leave without being thrashed. Why should somebody be made to feel like that?
Yeah.
Because these people who are having these conversations at home are now drunk. They don't have the control over their mind to keep their mouth shut. They're now going to take it out in a public place with no accountability. They'll get away with it.
But then that's another thing as well, the fact that we are happy, or people are happy in general, to talk about certain things in the house,
Yeah.
and then let that slide as well.
Let that
that's
slide
another thing
as
we
well.
kind of change as well, letting certain
Yes.
conversations in the house slide and say, you know what, that's not acceptable in the street, so let's not accept it in the house as well.
Yeah.
But it's a teaching thing, and if we don't kind of follow up on it,
I think you have to choose your battles wisely. So, for example, I don't, like, again, I'm not saying that anything you can justify behaviour like that, but I think the chances of me changing my grandparents' opinion, let's just say, in comparison to changing my parents, in comparison to then, let's take it down, I don't know, my siblings, and then in comparison to me, my future children. There is a massive difference, and I think you have to pick your battles wisely, because someone who's in their 80s now, they've lived their life, right? Let's just be honest about it. And
I'm just thinking about the conversation. I think I'm
You can't, because they'll just like, they'll cancel you out. They'll be like, all right, you're talking rubbish, whatever. But it's true that you still do have to
lived
speak
in a
up.
different time as well.
Yeah, they were
Living in a
spat on,
times is
they
different.
were discriminated against, they were denied jobs, they were denied access to come into public places. They are different. It's a different kettle of fish there, right? It's different.
They have, some people have seen
It is different.
signboards that said, oh, no coloureds or dogs allowed.
Yeah.
So that's different.
No Indians or dogs allowed.
Yeah.
They've seen them
saw it.
signs, so it's just
That's
like...
different.
For a newspaper headline the other day, it was around 40s, 50s UK, and the headlines were something, I can't quote it, but it was something along the lines of, if you go down to Birmingham, Bradford, there's loads of them down
I
there.
know, yeah.
Referring to South
Yeah.
Asians, the influx of the first generation migrants
wow.
coming through. I was like, oh wow. So when we
Oh,
think
the
about, like you
newspaper.
said,
But this is the
changing
thing.
the mindset of other generations, because they will have experienced a very different
Yes,
level of prejudice.
yeah.
It's always been there, and it was a different time.
Yeah.
It goes back to another conversation I've had recently, where we were talking that there's prejudice, racial prejudice in every community. And it, you know,
Yeah.
Every
it's
single
what you
Yeah.
said. It's going back to everybody being educated on
Yeah.
a human level. That okay, you might have a different religion, you might have a different football team, you might have a different colour, but the essence of who we are is all human.
I think
And that's the first quality on which we judge
the
people.
time of, the last 70, 80 years, let's say, or 60 years, there's been a lot of change in perception, views, acceptance and stuff. So there's a lot of difference from the people then than to now. So it is always going to be hard to change grandparents' points and views. You can tell them your side, they'll listen to you, but they're like, yeah, cool.
If you're lucky.
They'll listen, but whether they take advice is a different matter, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that makes you just like, okay, yeah, let it slide. But nowadays, as people now, we see so much stuff being said, even amongst our own friends as well. And like, look, yeah, that's not cool, man. You can't be saying that kind of stuff. And, oh, it's just bants. There's bants.
There's bands.
But
yeah.
would you say that? I'm saying, would you
yeah.
say that on the street? Is my question to you. If you say it on the street, then that's how you actually think.
I think what changed recently, and this, I think I can include everybody, all generations in this. I think the BLM movement last year, because of how intense it was, and the event that triggered it, the death of George Floyd. So I think whatever colour you are, we can all agree that it was just wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is one example of us acknowledging that actually even our parents or grandparents, they have it in them to accept, like, this is just wrong. And I think that really did unite people, which is great.
I don't know if you guys went to any protests, but there were. I was trying to explain, as an activist, I was at quite a lot of Black Lives Matter. I went to Leicester demonstrations, I went to Coventry as well. And the beautiful thing is what you just said there, it was a unity. It wasn't just black people, it was literally every background, minority group that you could think of, including our white British, counterparts. And the things that were being talked about was challenging racism and what is white privilege and how do we educate people on it. It was never about just like, just Black Lives Matter, but it was that unity.
And I think
it comes back to humanity.
Some people's priorities really came out though. So for example, like some people were like, this is great, we're protesting. Yeah, okay, whether something changes or not, that's different. But whoever's there and is experiencing that momentum, it's obviously going to affect them, whether it's a child or whatever. But I know that on the flip side, there was people saying protests are not going to do anything, the horses are getting hurt. There was stuff, and you just think, you know what, you've completely cancelled out what's really gone off here. You've given your 2 pence, but it's irrelevant because what are you talking about? How have you diverted the attention to like a horse? Oh, I love horses and they shouldn't be hurt. Well, a human being shouldn't be hurt and shouldn't be killed in the circumstances that he was killed. I'm not saying that one's better than the other or worse than the other, but I think people's priorities and people's state of mind has really come out in these events, whether it's football, whether it's at home, whether it's BLM, whether it's in jobs, whatever it is. I think it's really come out.
You can't be selective anymore.
You can't.
And you can't be a bystander either.
To people, right? You are either pro-human and treat everybody equally, or you are racially prejudiced. You don't selectively. What I struggle with is things, like pray for France, pray for something. Like Facebook does these covers every so often, and it's like pray for things. Interesting, never get one for pray for Palestine or pray for the farmers, etc.
No.
It's very selective, and if you watch the people that are on the social, and the people that change their profile picture, it's all they're pro certain types of people, but prejudice to others.
Definitely.
It goes back to that. There's this funny thing blurred in the middle, that selective prejudice. No, I stand for everybody, but I'm not going to say anything about these people.
I have people on my social media who, during the BLM momentum, they were posting every day. I'm talking about white people, right? So they were posting all sorts of stuff, which is great. So yes, it's unacceptable and stuff. I have not seen any of those people. I can say any of those people. I only follow like 200 and something, but none of them posted anything about Palestine. Posted anything about the farmers' protest. Anything at all. But BLM, of course. And then I think off the back of that, our community thinks, really? We stick up for the whole world.
Yeah, we do.
But nobody sticks up for us.
Yeah, no.
Nobody sticks up for us. What are we
People are
getting
very
out of
selective.
this?
I've seen that amongst my friends as well. Some of them, they'll pop this
My
and
own
they'll pop
friends,
that. And it's like, well, where's your support for this? But
All comes back to that education.
certain movements are fashionable.
Fashionable,
And also
definitely.
people stop
Or
posting.
they're trending.
Yeah.
You know, it's a certain storm now. They're trending and stuff. People have probably stopped doing stuff for the farmers right now,
Yeah.
or they post
Where's
it
that
once or
gone?
twice.
Yeah.
You know, but once it starts churning up again, something else happens, they might pop up again.
No, but these,
Yeah.
you know, for example, last year where there was this momentum of posting a black post, you know, like
Square.
a square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that everybody jumped on the bandwagon.
Pretty much.
But I'm pretty sure also that some of the people, the England fans who posted that to jump on the bandwagon
Yeah.
are the exact people who probably posted monkey emojis under
Yeah.
the players' photos or, you know, go back to your country and stuff. It is selective because it
Yeah.
means that you're jumping on a trend. You don't really care about someone's life. You know what
Yeah,
you're doing.
yeah,
And
exactly.
you feel that I can get away with this because who's going to hold me accountable?
But people are always going to be selective on that, and that's the thing. You'll
Always.
you'll
And
see
that
it as
selective racism, I
and
think,
time
is
go
worse.
time.
I
Yeah,
think it's worse.
it
I
is
think it is
because
actually.
you acknowledge.
Yeah, you
racism.
acknowledge.
You acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You're not naive to it.
You're in the
You're
middle.
not,
what
you're
you're doing.
ignorant
Sitting on
to
the
it.
fence.
You're not,
Yeah.
you're not oblivious to it. It's just like you're seeing someone getting their
Yeah.
ass whooped over there.
Yeah.
You're turning around, bro. You okay? You're right. You can see they're getting whooped.
Yeah.
You're acknowledging they're getting ass whooped. But you're like, oh, I think
Yeah.
I'll just stay here
Yeah.
and just leave it be. You get me? It's just like
They feel
okay,
entitled,
fine.
or they'll say, "Well, I can say that because I got a black friend."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Really?
that's-
Do you want to ask your black friend their
Observations,
opinion
yeah,
for what
yeah,
you've just said? I'm
yeah.
pretty sure you might think they're your friend. They ain't your friends anymore after you've
And I
said
think-
what you've said.
I think in football, as a fans are selective.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's what we've seen come out towards the players.
Yeah.
I think the players are strong enough to stand up for it. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of change coming through. And like I say, those white British voices that are going to amplify our voices further.
It's
And,
unfortunate that we have to
yeah,
rely on them.
Yeah. But
I think
that's
it's
the
so
way of the world
unfortunate.
at the
That's
moment,
the way
isn't
that it is,
And
yeah.
until we get that change come through. And
So
We
how-
can't trust our own. We can't trust
Yeah.
Priti Patel.
Well, yeah,
she
she's
could
right
land
advocate,
here and
isn't
kick
she?
us out.
Talking about our
She's
own.
gonna deport
Talking
She's
about
going to deport me back to wherever it is. I
talking
come
about
from.
our own. How,
We're
what do you
talking
think? What do you think we need to do to get more, we'll say, Asian players into football more in the mainstream? What do you think? How do you think we're going to tackle that then? Because that, alongside racism, is another thing that we can
Yeah,
think about as a
I
community
think,
thing.
yeah.
How do you reckon we can get Desi players or Indian, Asian players, as they, whatever you want to call it, what label you want to give us? How do you want to get them into football more and to the higher level?
I think it's that belief in them. I think there's got to be that education around parents. I think next generation parents, like younger generations, like are more open to. Older generations, I guess, are still at that set mind of go get an education, get a degree, get a good job. It's that sort of thing that we're still challenging. It's coming through, but working with first generation children, again, that mindset's still there. That if a child's like, I really want to play cricket or football or something, there's still an expectation that they need to get their education. Whereas
Yep.
actually, if there's a talent amongst these children that parents nurtured and supported, like you hear about the stories of like different players and the support that their parents put into them, and you know, from a very young age, doesn't matter. Many footballers, especially the ones that have come from underprivileged backgrounds, and professional footballers we're talking about, they will talk about their struggles and that. But the interesting thing about their stories, whether it's we can go back to David Beckham, we can talk about Madders at Leicester, whoever we want to talk about, you know, they will talk about their journey. And the significant thing for me is, you know, even Salah talking about his family and the support that these players are getting from family.
Yeah.
From
So for
family,
our Asian
yeah.
players to come through, I think there's got to be a
Yeah.
big supportive factor coming through from the family, the community as
Yeah.
well.
I think parents can help in terms of
Yeah.
family, but I
Yeah.
think the biggest factor
and
for
then it's
us
that
as a community is
institutionalised level.
there's that, and
Yeah.
there's a factor. If we see a person in our community, we should support them.
Support them.
And we
should
don't.
support
them,
them,
yeah,
And we
exactly.
don't, because
Yeah.
everybody wants to do
It's
their,
that.
as I say, their own balibali, as I
Yeah,
call
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't want to support someone else.
Yeah.
If someone's got a chance to get from here to there,
Support them.
then help them. But
Help
they don't.
them.
They don't want to do
Put
it.
them
Think,
in
oh, why
contact
should
with
I
somebody.
help him?
Absolutely.
He's not even that good. Or
Yeah.
someone says, oh, I don't like him. You need to look past that. Think of the bigger picture here.
That's the
we
biggest
need one
down-
shot
yeah.
for one person
Yeah.
to get there to
Yeah.
make a break
That's
for it,
it, yeah.
and then we're going to be
Yeah.
high
Tell
flying
them
and
of
stuff.
opportunities, be
Yeah.
open to it, put them in touch with good contacts if you've got them. But yeah, I think you're right. There's an issue in our community where it's like secret hate. Like you don't want to support somebody, you know. Yeah, you're good, but like secretly you don't want them to succeed.
Yeah.
But the more we see representation, the more it makes us so proud that, like, you know, that there's got to be a change that comes. But I think you're right. It's a family level, it's a sport level, it's a community level.
Yeah, because
then it's a
if
systematic
we
level.
get like, I don't know, 5-10 guys, or even 5-10 guys and 3 or 4 girls, let's say, to kick it off from the community into the blocks onto the bigger platform, giant inspiring for kids, younger
Yeah.
kids who think, you know what, he did it, or they did it, I can do it as well.
Yeah.
Mum and dad will play football. Mum and dad think, you know
Look
what, they're good. They've made it for the community.
Yeah.
It's something in the community that's accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the
Football
Olympics
is just,
now.
yeah.
Like, look at the representation. Like the Indian team, there's so much representation there for us to look and go, look at these athletes from our own kind of heritage and background, etc. Every country's being
I've seen something about that majority, there's a certain percentage from Punjab and Haryana.
Yeah, there's a really
Yeah, there is.
interesting
I didn't
percentage.
see
I saw posts about
something
it.
about
Looked
that.
at what it was.
Yeah,
It was
but it said there's a significant
runners.
amount.
Yeah, it's
Like, you
more
know-
than they expected to come
Yeah.
through from that region.
I'm not sure about numbers. I don't want to say
Yeah.
numbers, but it was substantial. So I was like,
And
oh damn.
females as well come
Yeah.
through in different
Definitely.
sports. And I think so. I guess the representation's there, but it's almost like, you know, in education, and from a feminist perspective, we call it a glass ceiling where women can't progress. It's almost like there's a glass ceiling that's
Yeah.
preventing Asians getting through to the top elite positions in sport.
I think Asians getting through is one thing, but after that,
Yeah.
women getting through, that's
Women,
another.
yeah, then that's just another ballgame.
that's a
We
whole.
still
Yeah,
back
I think
Yeah.
I'll get them.
Go away.
The fact that Bennett like Beckham came out such a long time
Yeah.
Oh
ago.
my god, that was like that was
But
my
my brother,
generation.
that's back in the
Yes.
that's back in the day.
Yes.
So no one can
Right.
ever say, you know, we're not really seeing anything about
No.
it. You have,
Yeah.
mate. You've seen my guy there made a film about something, and she was there
Yeah.
playing the part of the girl playing football. I don't know what year it came out, but that was years ago. But it was a sick film,
There's
and
lots,
and it's an inspiring film that you see. You know.
There's lots of issues. Like, as a female who loves football, I still get, oh, you're a girl that likes football. But then I go to
Yeah.
football matches with my guy mates or my family members, and then they're like, oh wow, you're really into it. But I've been into it a long time.
Yeah.
When I was younger, even my family, my mum would be like, all you ever wanted to do was save up. And I come from quite a bit humble background. My mum was like, all you ever wanted to do was save up. Hence why I'm wearing a retro shirt today, one of my first.
That's an OG shirt.
Yeah, you know.
That's a bad boy shirt.
Wait, 30 years to be proud. We didn't get a parade, so I'm so upset. But, you know, like, even then, it was like, family going, why is it, like, I remember my Mossad making me, my Mossad is going to kill me, but he's really going to see this. But he used to make me take down my Liverpool posters in my room of, like, Jamie Redknapp and
Man like Redknapp, you know.
Steve McManaman, you know, like Neil Ruddock. I remember meeting Neil Ruddock, right, about 10 years ago, and I was like, hello, I used to have a poster of you on my wall, and he was like, hello, darling, did you? And I was like, yeah.
At least acknowledge you.
And so, but yeah, I
Yeah.
met him in Liverpool. He's a lovely guy. But yeah, it was like my master used to make me take posters out. You're an Asian girl. You shouldn't have
Yeah.
posters of footballers, men, etc.
Yeah.
There was never an understanding. I think a lot of that's changed, but I don't think in some households it has.
We're gonna get a day where we're gonna have Apane Bande on the wall, like I don't know, Flanna Tinsa or something, or I don't know, what other signs we got?
Sahota.
Sahota
Sidhu.
or Sidhu,
I was throwing out
Sandhu,
random names.
Tillo, you know, these names are there. So I'll put up like, dang, oh my gosh, yeah, I got posted in my bedroom. Dad's gonna give God something. You get my last question for you then. Name me your 5 best players ever.
Oh wow!
5 best
Oh,
players,
wow.
and you can only give me names.
He's looking.
5 best players ever.
I'm gonna get pressure now, aren't I?
It's your last question
Oh
now.
wow! Okay, that's a very hard question. Ever, I'm gonna firstly put up there my main man Stephen Gerrard because
Okay, it's one.
He's
You
got
can't, I just need
validation.
names. I
I
need
have
some
to
names.
see.
I need names. I don't need the whys. I need the names.
Okay,
I'm gonna judge you for these as well, by the way. I'm joking. I'm playing. I'm not. It's one.
Roberto Carlos,
Okay.
Alessandro Del Piero,
Okay.
Maldini.
Okay.
How many is that?
That's 4.
God, that's so hard. Oh. Yeah, I go back in football. You say, oh gosh, it's so hard.
You've got some
I
external parties inputting. You know.
We're very passionate about this.
See, like, yeah, I've been involved in football for such a
You
long
got
time.
one last
Okay,
one last
let me
one.
I think I only
about
know
somebody
one
that's
man
really
that she just
impressed
said.
me. I think there's incredible young talent coming through. I could name 50 new players.
I need
think.
one more though.
One
I'm
more.
gonna have to
I
go
just
with
need
someone.
one.
Got a hint. But
I've actually been fortunate to see on El Clasico. I'm just gonna drop that in there. So I've seen
Okay.
Messi and Ronaldo play. I went to see
So you
a
got to pick one
game
though.
at Nou Camp. I'm gonna go with Ronaldo,
Okay.
Cristiano,
Okay.
because I think he's a go too.
Indii, your top 5 players, please.
everyone she just said.
We don't know which ones we can know.
I know Gerard and I know Ronaldo from what she just said.
Yeah, and 3 more.
What, my favourite? I don't have favourites. I don't watch football.
You
Am
don't
I just
watch
going to
any-
mention? Okay, alright. Okay, let's just do random. Okay, so I'll go with the two. I'm just
pick
gonna,
random.
No, I need to be a part of this, right? So,
Jude Bellingham.
yeah, Jude Bellingham. And we'll go with Harry Kane. And we'll go with,
God.
I don't know. Give me
You need to
someone
be
else.
an Arsenal player for your brother.
Sod him now. Whatever.
David Seaman.
Yeah, okay, whoever he is. I don't even know.
Plenty on it?
No?
He's a goalkeeper. Or was a goalkeeper?
Even he's laughing.
Done.
Done. Well, done.
Do I have
What
to
about
do I
your
have to answer
five?
as
Yeah, what
well?
about your
Give us
five?
yours.
What about your five? You're going to get
I
judged
would-
now. You have to judge her.
No. I would probably pick for myself, watching over the years and stuff, I would pick Zidane.
Yeah.
Definitely
I
up
should
there.
have said that.
That's Zidane.
Donny.
Definitely Ronaldo, the OG Ronaldo. Then I'd probably pick.
It's just too many.
I'd pick Davids. Davids was a bad man
was
player.
amazing.
He's a
He
bad
really
man
was.
player. Like the way he can move and stuff. Then I'd probably go for someone like. I can't pick another French player. I don't pick another French player. I was gonna say Thierry Henry, but I'm not gonna
Yeah,
pick Thierry
oh.
Henry. I'm not gonna pick him
You
because
can have Henri.
he's French.
Alright, okay.
How about
I would
that? Your brother
possibly-
will be happy.
Yeah.
I would
alright, Henry.
possibly say then. But I've got to save the best or last in it, don't we? Should I pick one more band out of there?
It's the last one.
No, I've got two. I'm on my
Oh, you got one
I'm
more,
on my
fourth one.
innit?
Okay.
I don't want to pick any that you picked as well. I'll be copying someone, innit? I would say even Maradona, you know.
But, yeah.
Man like Maradona, and then Gerrard. Full support of Gerrard. No, but he's the reason why I actually started to support Liverpool.
know,
So I watched him
I
play in the
remember
Champions
Gerrard
League
came
against
through, yeah.
Barcelona. Yeah, I thought you
Never
playing a
gonna
bad man.
forget Gerrard. Just to finish on that note, it's really hard when we also judge players by what they've won. But let's not forget their talent and what they gave. I would strongly advise everybody to watch a Gerrard documentary because nobody realises what he gave. You can't judge a player just because they do it in the Premier League.
We're gonna finish with that Gerrard's an OG,
Yeah.
no matter what.
He's going to come back and win the Premier League as a Liverpool manager. I say that.
He's gonna take
recorded
he's gonna take England to a final. Gerrard is
Yeah.
one day, and he's gonna win a World Cup. Yeah, there I said it. Yeah,
Wow. Some
there you
big
go.
statements
Big statement.
there.
This is
Some big
This-
statements
this-
there.
this is my thought process. So I'm gonna go with that. Get me. So
Right.
yeah. Man.
I'm
Okay.
going with Liverpool. Gerrard will come back and get that Premier League medal as a Liverpool manager. And I can't say much for Leicester because Leicester's in
No.
journey.
Go in a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah, Leicester's done it all. Leicester's won the Premier League.
it's-
Right.
it's okay.
Final,
Done.
so we're
Sweet.
done.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
It's been a
so
pleasure.
much for joining us.
And if you want to check out our podcast, do check it out online. We'll put We're gonna put this anywhere.
What do you mean?
No, we can edit this afterwards anyway. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
See you
Thanks
soon.
for having me.
Bye, Kedem. Bye, Kedem.
Bye.